Once upon a time, there was a moose.
Oh no! Don't
big
go there.
moose
Don't go there.
who followed Tony from Wyoming down into the Colorado state. Man, I know I've gotten a lot of comments from people that saw some of the photos we put out. How are you, Tony?
I'm good. How are you? I'm hot. It is
Yeah,
hot out here. Holy cow!
It is warm.
I'm well. How are you? Have you recovered from our incredible weekend this past weekend?
Yeah, I did. I got through all that. Yeah, I'm pretty much recovered. I got through that, and I did have Monday off, and so I pretty much didn't do anything on Monday, but ended up all of a sudden my wife and I's cars both just went down, and having some major problems with them just all of a sudden, coincidentally. Hers, when she's on a training conference up 2 hours away from me up in the mountains. So I've been like dealing with that all day Monday and since then, and haven't really got it fixed out. But yeah,
Car
how about
issues
you?
Never fun.
No, they're not. They're not. How about you? Did you get recovered? Boy, you worked harder than I did. Like I
don't know about that.
My arms were tired for handing prizes over the table, but
it was nonstop. And I remember the same thing last year. It got to the point to where, quote door prizes. It was, hey guys, we got to start handing out more prizes here because we just have too much stuff. It's just piling up. No, we're not giving it away fast enough.
Right.
And it was amazing.
We tried to change it up this year in that everyone that won a token prize,
yes.
we would hand them 2 or 3 door prizes to go along with it. Here, take a hat and a bag and a patch and this and that,
shirt,
and
bag.
Yeah. And then we just started calling people up, pull their name, call them up, and just pick what you want,
Yeah.
That worked out a lot better.
Of course, we're speaking of our Rush to the Rockies 50th Jubilee celebration, the Stampede up here in Conifer, Colorado. We had a big, huge seated hunt national event, our national event for Eureka.
Right, Rush to the Rockies 2023. We had, 5 hunts over 2 days. We had a meet and greet on Friday with some root beer floats. You and I broadcasted the Relics Radio show live on Friday night from there.
We did.
And if you happen to miss it, you can just step back, right? Go check it out.
It was great. We sat down with a bunch of different people who were there on Friday night for the meet and greet, and I went back and listened to it. It was an awesome show.
It really was. I can't believe we pulled that off because I had one bar of cell service up there, and we were serving it off a hotspot. So I guess we've proved that as long as we've got one bar, we can pull it off. It worked pretty. We only cut out once, I think.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. So
yeah, a great time though. Lots of metal detecting. I came home with 302, not silver coins, but coins overall, with 98% of that being silver.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
What wasn't silver was, I have some half dollars. I have $50 and half dollars that were not silver. But other than that, I think everything else, Buffalo nickels obviously aren't silver, but yeah.
What a lot of coins, man. Whew. You need to nickname that Manticore detector of yours Hoover. I think you start calling him Hoover or pick up some other, because you were just sucking up. Matter of fact, here's the thing: is people don't know that if you weren't there, not only did Tony score, I mean, he just crushed it, but he also ended like 15, 20 minutes earlier than everybody. It seemed like
I was,
because you would go up. And then you come back and grab your drone and go out and shoot and put down your detector and go out and shoot some drone footage and stuff.
I hunted for about 15 to 20 minutes per hunt, and they were scheduled for 45 minutes. And I come out and then go back up onto the hunt field with the drone or my camera and just get some footage to put together kind of a 2023 Rush to the Rockies, inspirational video kind of thing. So, I did not hunt I hunted about 50% of the time.
Yeah. It was amazing.
If
I
that.
come back and look at your pouch and see you pour everything out on the table. I was just like, man, it was cool. But a lot of people were doing very well like that. And we had a ton, just a ton. I think we said something like we put like $23,000 worth of money in the ground, coins in the ground, and value of coins in the ground. And tons of prizes to give away. And everyone just had a really good time. Met a lot of people. Met Copper Joe, listener, caller to the show. He was there.
I was going to mention that. A very well supporter of the show, Copper Joe. We spent the whole weekend. I know you were very busy. You got to talk to him a couple times, but I always checked in with him, saw how he's doing, shared stories and stuff like that. Great guy. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Met him and his wife.
Guy.
Yep.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, she hung out all weekend too. He was just having a good time. He got some good stuff too. If he ends up calling in tonight, I'm sure we'll ask him about it. But the only other thing I want to talk about the hunt, because I know if you guys want to see more on that, check both Tony's 5280s Facebook group, Facebook page, also his personal page, my page. We've been posting all kinds of pictures of it, including a moose. Yes, we did have a moose, a wild bull moose that came into the camp and kind of walked through and gave everyone a thrill. I was looking for Tony. I didn't really see him. I don't know where he was. Were you in the restroom? No,
I climbed up in the rafters of that pavilion. I was in high ground.
You're yelling to everyone, "Get away! Get back!" No, I'm kidding. I'm teasing you. But you were a very popular guy at this hunt for one specific reason. I swear, you came in and drove in the parking lot, and everyone's like, "Tony's here! Yeah. Tony's here! Let's go see his gold coin." Everyone wanted to see that.
You guys attacked me. I didn't even get out of the car yet, and you were already reaching in my pockets trying to grab my coin.
It was beautiful, man. It was so beautiful. I'm telling you, and to hold it and feel the weight, nothing like it. It was so cool.
And the reason for that was I hadn't seen anybody. We hadn't had a meeting yet for Eureka. No. You and I hadn't got out to dig, so this is kind of the reveal from my hunt over on the Oregon Trail. So
it
was nice to share with everybody. I got my my Riker display box as well with everything else in it, and
that's beautiful too. Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure. I have not put a picture of that up on Facebook yet, but I will this week. It's been a crazy week, so I'm still trying to get ahead from rush and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah.
But I'll get
great weekend, man. Great weekend. Yeah. For those
it was a good time. You did a fantastic. I did want to publicly say you absolutely killed it out there. In our side, I was not a part of planning, setup, nothing like that. On our side, as a participant, everything appeared to go flawlessly. A1 quality type of event. I really, really thought you did a phenomenal job. And I'm not just saying that because,
because I paid you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that has something to do with it. But
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No, it really was great. Yeah. And I've, the more pictures and posts that we put out, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say they're really impressed with what they saw from what we posted, and they're kind of interested in coming out next year. So it reflects on the group that put it together. So thank you very much for that.
There was a lot of people involved, and it went fairly smooth. You come up with things as you go along, and you have best plans in place, but things do come up, and it takes, like they say, it takes a village, right? And we had a good village behind us this time because we were able to deal with some of those things that came up and make adjustments and stuff. And it was a great event. So, hey, but tonight I'm excited to have the guest on with us tonight that we have with us. I'd been talking to Ed for quite a while, on Facebook and such. Him and I hadn't met each other, but I'm glad we finally found some time to come on and talk about Fort Sherman. Ed's got a lot of information about that, and man, some of the finds he'd send me pictures of has just been blowing me away. So you want to bring him on, Ed Acree?
Yeah, we are just blessed and honored to give us some time tonight, and we've got Mr. Ed Acree from Coeur, Idaho, and he's an incredible detectorist out there, and we are just happy to have you on the show, Ed. Thank you so much, and welcome to Relics Radio.
Hey there, Ed.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, been a little while coming, man. I'm glad we finally find some time to get you on.
Yeah, we talked quite a while ago on instant messaging, and then your guys' shows are some great guests, so I can understand why I got pushed back. So no worries.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? You just haven't found enough yet, quite Ed. We're gonna get you on sometime. No, I'm teasing you.
I don't know about that.
No, I don't know about that, man, because like it's been so impressive seeing some of the stuff you'd sent me over the years, and it's crazy. So yeah, let's a little bit about yourself, Ed. Let's introduce everyone to you. I'll go ahead. You're Ed Acree. You're from someplace in Idaho. Are you actually in Coeur d'Alene, or are you kind of just near there?
No, I actually live in North Coeur d'Alene. And it's, I don't know if either one of you ever been up to this part of the country, but we call it God's country. And it's beautiful. The lake is beautiful. And I love to, obviously, detect is my number one thing. But I have 6 grandkids, and I do a lot of fishing and, hiking and things that have to do with outdoor stuff here.
Nice.
You're pretty close to the border,
we have a lot
right?
of it.
Pretty close to the border of Washington?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because the top of the panhandle is only 70 miles wide. I'm maybe 6-7 miles from the border of Washington. And then, about 70 to Montana and pretty close to Canada too. So
it's got to be beautiful there, man. Just that location.
Really
I've never been there, but
I spent some time there.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to my wife's family reunion was up there in Coeur d'Alene, and we stayed on the lake there and did a lot of sightseeing. I think the first night we got there, we ate on a restaurant that sat right on the lake there, and it was just breathtaking. And then just kind of getting out in that area. A lot of her family lives out in that right there, anyways. And man, what a beautiful, beautiful spot.
Yeah.
You're blessed.
Yeah, we just were at that floating restaurant last week. It's our go-to place for like it was our anniversary, and we were there, and we sat out on the floating part and enjoyed dinner.
Perfect.
It's an awesome place. Yeah.
That's amazing. How long have you been metal detecting, Ed? And what got you into it?
Well, I started in around 1999. But there was a lot of years that I didn't hunt because of work and stuff like that. But for the last 15 years, I've been diehard, go as often as I can. But what got me into it was we moved to Phoenix, Arizona. I went to college there, and we ended up spending about 20 years there. And my brother lived about a mile from me, and he called me up Christmas morning, and he's like, "Hey, guess what I got for Christmas?" He said, "Like a metal detector." And I was like, "Oh my God, I want one of those so bad." I said, "Bring it over." So we had one of those in-ground swimming pools that you can play volleyball and stuff in. And a buddy of mine lost his wedding ring in my backyard about 2 years prior. And I had looked and looked. I thought it went down the drain in the pool. And anyway, he came over. In 10 minutes, we found it.
Wow. And
I went in the house and told my wife, I was like, "I got to have one of these." You know how that is. So that was my aha moment, But because of where we lived, and it's so hot down there, and I didn't really get into it until I moved back home up here. So,
yeah.
Great story.
It is a great story.
It's amazing how things start off.
Yeah, he never replaced his ring, and I cleaned it and took it to him, and he was just like in shock. He thought he'd never see it again. So that's a great feeling doing returns, and you guys know that. So
absolutely. Yeah. I got called. Matter of fact, yesterday I got a text from a guy because I'm on Ring Finders, right? I'm on the Ring Finders network, and he texted me and he said, "Hey Ken," he goes, "I lost my ring while I was playing baseball. Do you have any opportunity over the next day or two to come help me find it?" He was down south, kind of where Tony's at, and I just read it, and I kind of didn't comment right away. I was going to check my schedule and see if I could possibly get down there, or maybe turn the lead on to Jeff Lubert, who's down that way. And all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, I get this text, and he's got this really cheap looking metal detector. I don't know where he got it, but he's got that on the grass and he's got his ring in his hand. And he's holding it up. He's got this big smile on his face. And I was like, whoa, he found it. He goes, yeah, I borrowed one from a friend and they came out here and found it. And I thought, I thought, now is this guy going to be hooked? You know, is it, we're going to invite him to the club now? That's the way it goes, right?
Yep.
So who lost the who got the metal detector for Christmas? Was he? Did you say your brother?
My brother, yeah.
And is he?
And both of my older brothers detect. One lives in Utah, and he hunts a lot. And then my other brother that got the one for Christmas, he lives in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, so he hunts up there. So.
And did your detecting evolve? Like, did it, start in a park, work your way to this, eventually become a relic hunter?
Yeah. But since I've been a relic hunter, it's like I don't really like to do all that other stuff, you know.
Yeah,
I still do parks and schools when I don't have time to get out. But this place that I found, I've literally been hunting it since September of 2019.
Wow.
That's how much stuff and time that I've put in down there, because it's never hunted out. And I just keep going back, and it's amazing. And I have a friend of mine who I've known him since high school, and we've been hunting together for the last 15 years since I came back. And I took him down there a couple times, and I'd inevitably find a button or something, and he wouldn't find anything. And so he's like, I'm never going back there again. And so I was like, come on, you got to go. And he's like, nope. He goes, that's your place. And he never went back. And I have all this stuff. And
wow.
And I don't know if he regrets it or not. But I met another guy on the riverbank. The Spokane River runs out of the Coeur d'Alene Lake, and in the wintertime, they drain the waterway down. And so I hunt the riverbanks on both sides. And I met a guy down there a couple of years ago now. His name's Tom. And I saw him on my lunch hour. I saw him detecting the beach area, and I went down. I was like, man, somebody's on my turf. You know how that is.
You're right. Click, click.
So I went down there, and I got to talking to him, and I was like, so, have you found anything? And he's like, yeah, actually, he goes, I found 3 eagle buttons today. So we kind of formed a bond, and he's been going down there with me for the last 2 years. And between him and I, we just slayed that place. So
that's awesome. Isn't it amazing how you can come across a place like that where you just feel like, gosh, there's no way there's any more stuff out here, or it's so few and far between. You're going, I'm not gonna go out in this heat or whatever for 8 hours and find just one item, but they just continue to produce.
They just continue to come up,
and the same quality too of stuff.
Yeah, and we kind of have limited access because part of it grows up pretty high with weeds in the summertime. So springtime. And then fall is the time I spend a lot of time down there. Right this spring, though, within a 1 week span, I sent you pictures of the eagle hat badge that I found.
Yeah.
Well, I have 5 of those, and I feel bad that, it's like
5 of those.
Yeah, I got 5 of those.
But in a week span, I found... Yeah, absolutely. I found 2 more, and some cross guns and a bunch more buttons. So it's like I kind of found a new hot spot, but then I can't get in there now. So till fall. So
tell people what we're talking about. Yeah, we're actually talking about. Tony's showing me a picture of it on our camera feed.
Yeah, they either went on a Shaco helmet or the pith helmets that they used to wear. They would go on the front. I know, right?
Beautiful.
The first time I
so
pulled
ornate,
one out,
so decorative. Yeah, what did you think? How big is it, first of all?
I had no idea. I don't know if I sent you the picture of me holding it in my hand, but it's as big as my hand.
Yeah, I did see
So
it. Right, it spans across all your fingers, maybe even a little longer. Describe it, Tony.
yeah,
It's
and
got spread 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 winged eagle holding the banner in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's got the same thing, just a
yeah, E
typical eagle.
pluribus unum.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got
So
cross
olive
guns.
leaves and cross guns. Looks like olive leaves on one side and arrows on the other.
And
Right?
arrows on the other. Yep.
And then it's
And on
got a shield.
in the shield, they would have their company number or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
saw
have
that.
one that has a 6 on it, and it looks like there was something hooked on the other side, and I was able to research that the 16th Division of whatever company was stationed at Fort Sherman. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's talk about. We really haven't mentioned where you were hunting.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about Coeur d'Alene and Idaho, but so let's tell us about Fort Sherman. You just kind of talked about that. Give us a little history lesson, Ed, on Fort Sherman.
Okay.
So a lot of people might not be familiar with it.
Yeah. Well, the Army sent William Tecumseh Sherman out west
I've heard that guy.
look for. Yeah, you heard of him?
I think so. Yeah.
So there's a fort in Montana, and then there's one in western Washington, and they wanted him to scout out a location for somewhere kind of in the middle. And when he came to the Coeur d'Alene Lake area, and obviously it wasn't Coeur d'Alene then, he said, "This is it," and he recommended that a fort be built there. The next year, which was 1878, they decided to build a fort there, and it was originally called Fort Coeur d'Alene. And then when Sherman retired, and I think it was in 1870 or 1887, I think, they renamed it Fort Sherman. And so, like our main street that goes downtown by the water, it's Sherman Avenue. There's a lot of stuff that are, is here because of that. And the town basically grew off of the fort. So,
And they built the fort just to kind of protect,
they were here to protect the pioneers. They only were actually called in the service 2 different times. One for a little tension with, I can't remember which Native American group it was. So they went there. And then another time, we have a big, Northern Idaho is very big into mining, silver mining and that kind of stuff. And they had a miners' strike, and they were sent out to keep the peace out there. But they really didn't have a lot of stuff to do here because the Native Americans were very friendly and, did a lot of trading and stuff like that. So it basically was here from 1878 until 1900, and then it was the soldiers were dispersed, and the buildings and stuff sat empty until the city of Coeur d'Alene bought it, and I think it was 1937 they built North Idaho College on the grounds.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
And it's a beautiful location, and I know you, Tony, you said you were here.
Yeah,
lakefront property is
where it's
hard
at.
to come by. And their college still sits right there, so.
Wow.
It's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful area. There was, and I don't know the exact detail, but I got a picture. We were actually just walking around the lake itself, and we came across a site that had signs of, some historical signs for a cabin or something like that. And it actually said no metal detecting permitted or something like that. And I got a picture standing next to it with my metal detector. And I don't remember if you may be familiar with whatever site that is right there on the lake, right lakefront.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's in place anymore because all the beaches and everything, it's all detectable now.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and in fact, where we hunt, I'll send you coordinates later.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
It's probably it's a ways away from where the fort actually sat, and I told when I talked to Ken yesterday, I told him that I was down there hunting one time, and I said, I say this older man, but then I go home and tell my wife he is older, and she's like, well, how old? I'm like, well, probably about my age, I guess. And so anyway, he goes, are you finding anything? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I've done pretty well in this area. And he goes, well, I grew up about 2 blocks from here. And he goes, this used to be the dump for Fort Sherman. And he goes, they used to go down and when he was a kid and dig bottles down there. And so I was like, you start putting 2 and 2 together. It's like, whoa, no wonder,
Yeah.
So Tony, when I said I had 5 of those Eagle hat badges, I have 193 Eagle buttons. So
193.
That's a sight. That's a sight.
That's
all right,
amazing.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you one question. Do you ever get tired of digging those Eagle buttons?
Never.
I
will never get tired of it.
Nope,
in fact,
not once.
you know how we are. It's like I found 4 on Christmas Eve day that year in 2019, and so I was like, oh, I'd love to find 10. And then it just went up from there, and it was like I was at 50 something. I was like, I've got to find 100, and then
I gotta
150.
find 100.
It was like
Right.
now I'm 7 away from 200. It's like
Wow.
I can smell it. So
well, and you sent us some pictures. You found some general service. You found infantry, cavalry.
I found infantry and cavalry, and then I found and I'm probably going to butcher this, but a lyre or Lear, Lyre. Is the band uniform button.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one of those, and then I have 2 officers buttons, the ones they're domed and they have the stars that go all the way around them. Are you familiar with those?
I am not.
No. Say again. What has
it's an officer's button, and they're domed, and so they stick up higher. They're they're 2-piece. And around the outside are stars all the way around, and then the eagle in the center. Yeah.
And was it any specific eagle or a general service officer's button?
It's just a general service officer's button. Yeah. No, I didn't get that lucky,
Because that gold
gill
infantry button you send just looks amazing.
Yeah, I have quite a few of the gold gill, and it's just amazing that they've been in the ground for that long. And some of them I'll find, and they look like they were just dropped, and the other ones, I have some that are so deteriorated, that as long as I can make out an eagle, it counts,
Absolutely.
It's going in the collection. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Is the Lear that you said you found the pin, is it the picture you sent me that kind of looks like a musical sheet holder?
No, it's an actual button.
Oh,
it was a button on their uniforms if they were part of the Army band or whatever.
Gotcha.
And I don't even know if it went as far back as the fort or not, but it was in that area. So I always assumed that it came from the fort.
Yeah. So it is kind of that musical, like a U. Design on a button itself. Okay. Yeah, I just looked it up.
Wow.
Yes,
and it was literally on top of the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I was just like, what is it? And it's got the gold on it. It's in really good shape. But
very cool. But I wonder what the story is of why, who was there playing, or were they there when Sherman came through and they're playing music for what kind of stories come from all those that type of find?
I don't know, but I love to imagine. My mind goes crazy when I'm down there. So
we're all cut of the same cloth, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I have a couple really personal items that I found that are, they're some of my favorites. They're not a button, they're not a badge, like the Big Eagle and stuff. But so at that point of time, they were using the 45-70 shells. Are you guys familiar with those?
Yes, sure. Yep.
So I've probably found 500 of them. I can't count anymore. And then the 45-70 bullets, a ton of them across the river. So they would shoot from the fort across the river into the bank on the other side. And I find tons of the lead bullets over there. And And my buddy Tom actually has found a 3-ringer on the riverbank, and
Wow.
I'm very upset with him because
have you
because it's like,
have yet to pull one of those out?
I need one of those bad. But what I was getting to there, somebody took a 4570. I don't know if I sent it to you, but a 4570 shell casing, and they cut it and turned it into a maple leaf.
No way.
Yeah, so somebody is just like sitting around, and it's amazing. And when I pulled it out, I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then I'm looking at it, it's like it's a maple leaf, but it's a shell casing. And then not too long after that, I found a lead bullet that somebody had hammered out, and then carved an elephant out of it. And so that's when your mind, that's when your mind starts racing. It's like, so he was probably like sitting on on a rock or something, and he was chiseling it with his knife. And I found tons of, not tons, but I found quite a few jackknives and stuff down there. And you don't know where they come from, and
you don't, but it's a personal thing, like
Tony
found that chess piece, right? That they took that basically a 3-ringer and cut the top off of it and kind of made it a chess piece, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
And then that other piece of that arrow,
it was a carved bullet into an arrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool. Again, it was what I've said, you'll never find another one like it. There's only one of those that exist exactly like that. And, to have that, the last person that touched it, literally, a soldier from 150 years ago, that you just can't replace that type of history.
No, and that's my favorite stuff. So I love all the other stuff, and but the personal items are right up there. But when I first started hunting there, I always told myself, I was like, I want to find something that says Fort Sherman on it. I don't care what it is. Maybe something off of a locker, or a wooden chest or something. I didn't know, but I just was like, I got to find something. And I sent you the picture, but I pulled it a token from there, a 25-cent token, and it says post exchange on the top, 25 in the middle, and on the bottom it reads FT period Sherman, Idaho. So
wow, there you go. So cool.
I just actually joined a metal detecting club in Spokane, and there's a guy there that is an amazing token collector. He has a collection that's unbelievable, but when I showed it to him, he got very excited and said he'd never seen one before. So
yeah, very cool. Amazing. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Native Americans were fairly friendly in that, and they did a lot of trading. Have you found any trade items, Ed, of like kettle points or any kind of dangling things?
I found a lot of stuff that I don't know what it is still to this day. Because sometimes if I find something, I'll put it on the the ID Me page, and sometimes I get an answer, sometimes I don't. But no, in fact, people find arrowheads on the riverbank, and I've been down there for so many years, and I'm always looking, but I've never even found one of those. So no luck in that.
Well, it's just
going
to make it more special then.
Absolutely.
They're there, but those.
So I know they're there
by sight. That makes adds a little bit more difficulty to it. Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture of that elephant that they carved the bullet into an elephant. That's just so cool. That's just that's amazing.
And when I found it, it had a hole on top, like where they had put it on a chain.
Yeah.
And when I picked it up, it broke off.
Oh.
I
too
know,
bad,
right?
Man.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was somebody made it into a necklace or something. And I was just like, wow, this is really awesome. So
yeah. You even sent me a picture of that one time of that button you found, and it still had a bit of the coat on it. Like that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was folded over on the front of it, and so I could see the shank and stuff on the back, and I gently pulled it back, and the eagle and it just happened to be a cavalry button. The C is embedded into the material, And I took them home and put them right in the little coin holder thing. I still have them so you can still see the sea and the eagle on it. So
wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah, yeah, right.
What was that one item? Go ahead, Tony.
I was gonna say what's really fantastic that I'm really enjoying like speaking with you about this kind of stuff, because we're all, the three of us are all on the west side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
You talk about history of our country, and we may not be, Continental Army type stuff, but gosh, the history that was created out here, it was essential to the area, and it is a very important part of the United States. And to be able to talk about something like you're speaking of is just absolutely amazing.
Well, and I don't remember which guest you guys had on, and maybe a couple people have even said this, but somebody on your show said, that you need to just be happy finding the history in your area,
Yes.
And I love it. I mean, I want to go to the South and hunt for Civil War stuff when I retire, and I hope I get to do that. But if I don't ever, I've unearthed a lot of history. So.
You sure have, man. The pictures you've sent me have just made my mind spin, because like you, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between you and I and Tony. Like you, Tony and I both grew into being relic hunters, and military relic hunters is some of our favorite. And man, so when we see collections like yours and hear about this hot spot you're on, the hot area that you're able and got, have permission to hunt, it's just amazing. You spoke of bottles.
Yeah.
Have you come up with any bottles?
I have, yes. I mean, in that area, when you're digging a signal, I have found not a lot, maybe 4 or 5 that were complete. You'd be digging, you hear the tink, and then you start being really careful, and you pull a bottle out. Only a few that have had the embossed on it, but some really nice old full bottles that no chips or breaks in them. So, and I've also found, doll parts, the porcelain legs, porcelain bodies, bottle stoppers, you name it. It's like, you like go to dig for something, and then something flips out and you're like, what is that? And, so.
All right. Here's the question for you, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
What does your family think of this? They think Pop's gone off his rocker and bringing all these parts home, and
yeah. I have 2 daughters that live here, and then my son lives in Portland, and they, when I go out, they're always teasing me, going nerding,
going nerding,
nerding. But then when they see the stuff that I bring home, and they're like, this is pretty cool. I've supplied rings to my wife and my daughters, and it's they really like that I have a passion for it. I mean, that part is, how that is, and they support me. So,
right.
But I do think I'm a nerd for
as long as you keep bringing them rings, though, everything will be cool.
Right.
I think I was telling you, my wife always tells me, bring me a ring.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
never complain about that.
Right.
Hey, I want to interrupt real quick and just jump over to the live chat. We got a lot of people over here. They're commenting and having conversations about a whole bunch of different things. We got Barb Cannell popped in. Hey, Barb, how's it going? I hope you're feeling okay.
Right.
Better, but hope things are better for you. Denny, the ring finder, is in here. And then I wanted to call out Mr. Lewis Bean. Lewis actually reached out to me. He's actually he's from Vancouver Island, British Columbia in Canada. He reached out to me privately away from the show, and we were having a good conversation. Asked for a good address, and he sent me some items that I'm not going to go into details about it, but I just wanted to extend a personal thanks over the podcast here to Lewis. It's been a little bit since he's been on, but I just wanted to really thank Lewis for what he sent. You obviously know what you sent to me, and I truly appreciate the generosity that Lewis has. He's a great guy, and just thanks for all of the support for the show, and it's great to have you back on here. Hope you stick around and get involved in the live chat here. So
It wasn't a pair of boxers, was it?
I needed him after the moose. I know that much.
After the moose.
Wasn't he the one who calls in from the ferry sometimes?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so cool, man.
I love
You can't
that.
tell I listen to the show. Right?
Nah, you do.
Not
You
at
said
all,
you
not
did.
at
So we were going to quiz you later, but I don't think we need to anymore.
Yeah.
He
And
still
Denny
has to sing
Ringfinder
it.
said the 45-70 caliber bullets were used by Buffalo soldiers. Do you know if they had Buffalo soldiers there at Fort Sherman?
I can't be for sure if they did, but I know there was some Buffalo soldiers in this area. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the 1910 fires that came through Montana, Idaho, Washington, Canada in 1910.
Yeah, not me.
Anyway, it's the biggest fire that's ever been in this area. It burned millions and millions of acres, and down on the St. Joe River, down there, they had Buffalo soldiers that were down there helping fight the fires. So, I would love to find that area. I've been doing some research on it. So
good. That's another part of history that needs to be brought out, and more people need to hear about it. And touching some relics. Wow, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Hey Ed, there's a picture. I don't know what this item is. Maybe you know, and I'm gonna have a hard time explaining it. You know the pictures you sent me. It looks like it's front and back of something. Maybe it's got leather on it. On both sides, it looks like there's a little 3-pin, maybe almost like an arrowhead shaped, teardrop shaped. Yeah, that's it, Tony. He's showing me a picture
the
of
one
it.
with the leather still on it.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah,
2 pins.
Yeah,
rivets,
it's just, I as far as I know, it came off their belt, and something hung off of it. I don't know exactly for sure what that is, but I have so many pieces of the belts, everything but a buckle. And my buddy Tom dug one 3 feet away from me.
Oh,
and it
a
was
U.S. plate, like a belt plate?
It was the sword, officer sword plate.
Oh.
With the eagle, and then the
3 feet.
It has the
Yeah.
And I think I told Ken this story, but I had dug this area many times, and I dug a barrel band on 3 different occasions, and I'd get to the barrel band and go, I can't believe that signal tricked me again, Right. So we're digging. I'm like 3 feet away from him, he pulls out the barrel band, the part that's sticking out, and I'm like, oh man, that thing's tricked me a few times. I said, I've dug that hole like 3 times, and he goes, well, today the barrel band's coming out of here, so we don't have to dig it again. And his first scoop of his shovel, he flipped it up on the ground, and belt buckle rolled out.
Gosh.
Oh.
Did you tell him to go home at that point? You're like, you're done.
He wasn't invited.
You are no longer allowed here. So.
Well, and then he did it all, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was for me not digging. I mean, because it was down like a foot, and you try to pull on it and it wasn't coming out, and unless you dug the whole giant hole to get it out. But served me right. So.
I was just there looking at some of your pictures and stuff you sent me. What's that pointy object? It kind of looks like a top of a fence finial or something.
Yeah. So the helmets. Did Tony? Did you send him a picture of the helmet or the shackle hat? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
I think you just sent me a picture of the badge. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So on the pith helmets, the badge went on the front. These little spike things went on the top. Do you see the piece that looks like oak leaves, the round?
Yes.
In that one?
Yep.
So that spike thing went on top of that, and then that round piece went on top of the helmet. And then there was a strap that went around, like the bill of the helmet. And then there was the round items that have the cross guns on them went on the sides. So I could probably build 3 helmets if I had them.
Yeah.
But I've looked for them and haven't really been able to find one. So
Now, were they found close together? Did you say you found those close together or not really?
it's kind of, the stuff's kind of spread out down there, kind of everywhere. But
Yeah.
they either have these sharp, pointy finials on the top, or they have the one that the horsehair plume comes out of.
Man.
It has the eagle. It's like a round ball on the bottom, and then a piece that comes up, and it has the eagle with the star, and then like red plume would come out of the top of it.
The only pictures I saw from Fort Sherman was of a bunch of them on horseback. I saw one picture of a bunch of them on horseback during sort of dress inspection and stuff, and they're a lot of them were in pith helmets and those. What do they call the other helmets with the hair that you were just talking about? Did they call those pith helmets also? Shako. Yeah, really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of company letters too that I've found down there. One was an O or a 0. I'm assuming an O. And the other one was either an M or a W. I can't tell which one it is.
Those are great finds too.
Yeah, the things on the back that were attached, they're broke off, but you can see where they're at.
It's always so cool to find those things because, like Tony and I, we were hunting a site with Beth, and we knew it was a military site because of the things we were finding, a bunch of military buttons and stuff. And what I say, Tony, I go, one day one of us is going to find a company letter or a division number or something, and it's going to break it wide open, and we're going to know exactly kind of who was through there because there wasn't a lot. It's not like it had tons of years of, tons of different companies going through there, but and a division or whatever. But man, Tony found
to be able to identify it very specifically, through this area, because this wasn't actually near, where we're hunting it, not near a fort, nothing like that. It was just it's a military trail. Yeah. And it really then gave us, the direction to start researching even more because, I mean, you've got a B. What else is it? It's a company B. I mean, so right there, you start looking then at the travel routes where that specific company was at during what years, what times, and all of a sudden, like your whole world just expands at that point.
It gets exciting.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can talk about that like crazy.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, is it Colorado second or is it Colorado third? You know what I mean?
I know.
Is it Colorado or third Colorado? And we got to find that number next. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, we have another question from the chat here for you, Ed. And I want to point out this is from Great Outdoors Detecting. Zach, my buddy Zach, congratulations again on your gold coin, Zach. He was 15 minutes after I found mine, he found his. So I got to throw that out there.
Cool.
Amazing find. So anyways, Zach asks, of course, what type of coins, if any, has Ed found there?
Okay. So not a lot of coins out of there for whatever reason, but I found a 1900 barber dime, an 1876 seated quarter, like an 1882 or 92 Indian head penny. Just not a lot of coins down there.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't find a lot of those either around the sites that we're at, those military sites. Occasionally, like off the Oregon Trail,
Shield nickel or something.
They do have gold coins, and I do think
right,
ones and fives,
right?
No big deal. They're throwing those around. I know earlier Denny did ask if has there been any gold coins found in that area that you know of, not necessarily by you, but just in general.
Yeah, none by me, and that's the reason I continue to hunt there because
understood.
You're going to do it.
I know they're there, and just a matter. But part of the land that was donated after the government abandoned it, part of the land that they donated to the town, there's Coeur d'Alene Park there now, and I've heard of multiple gold coins come out of that park. So
wow.
That's where I'll be next weekend.
No, tease it. In fact, a buddy of mine, just last week, he sent me a picture, and it was the hilt of a sword, the handle and everything, and it was sticking out of the dirt. And I'm like, "Is that what I think it is?" And he goes, "If you're thinking a saber, you're correct." And then he sent me the picture of the the sword itself, the blade was still intact, but it was pretty deteriorated. But
jeez, my dog. Sorry about that, guys.
but he
Somebody's
he
ringing
had
my
a
doorbell.
he had a CTX 3030 there with a 17-inch coil, and it was 18 inches down
Holy
in that
cow.
park. So
Wow.
yeah, pretty crazy. So
Great
lots
find.
of cool stuff. Yeah, it was
Great find.
find of a lifetime. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So-
Beautiful. Great area. Wow.
Yeah, it's been good, and I don't know if did I send you Ken the picture of the cigar pocket mirror?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because I'd never heard of it. It's
Isn't
called
that
a
a crazy
Tansel's
picture on there?
Punch.
Tansel's Punch,
Yeah.
and they were established in 1862. But when I dug it, I didn't know what it was, but I was cleaning it enough where I could read where it said 5-cent cigar. And on the back of mine, you can see that it looks like broken glass, and it turned out to be it's like an advertisement piece, a pocket mirror, and it's, that's the kind of stuff. Again, somebody, had smoking cigars down there at the fort, and they had this little thing. They probably got it as a gift or something, and had it in their pocket. So,
You did send me pictures of a couple coins. You sent me a picture of a real.
Yeah.
That was
that
pretty amazing.
I had to include that because that's the oldest coin I've ever found, a 1770 Spanish half real. And this is how you just never know what you're going to pull out of the ground. But we have a big place that has swimming, basketball courts, all kinds of stuff. It's called the Kroc Center. I don't know if you guys know who Rainey and Joan Kroc are from McDonald's.
Yes.
The people that own McDonald's. Well, when they passed away, they left money in a trust, and cities could apply for this money, and Coeur d'Alene won some of the money, and they built this thing called the Kroc Center. Well, attached to the Kroc Center is a huge park, and there's they hold softball tournaments and all kinds of stuff there. And I was there digging with my buddy one day, and it was just typical spring day here, like you guys have in Colorado. It was sunny, and then it was raining, and then it was sleeting, and then it snowed for a little while. And anyway, we were like, let's get out of here. This is ridiculous. Well, his lab was in the truck, and so we went and let the dog out to run around a little bit, and the sun came back out, and I was like, hey, let's go hunt for a little bit more, And I was by the tennis court, and I dug this half real. And if the sun wouldn't have came out, we would have went home.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I had until I went home, and and I was like, I called him up. I was like, this thing's older than the United States.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't find that kind of stuff out here very often, but it's by far my best coin ever. So
Wow.
Mm.
That's amazing. I was lucky enough also to find a real, and I tell you that when you look at it, right? I mean, just like you said, you look at it and you're going, yeah, this was minted before we were even a country, before we went through all that we went through. Mine was 1772, so you got me beat by 2 years there. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, not only was it before we were a country, but, with it being Spanish and just, again, all those stories that go along with each item that you find. It's just, how did this get here? What were they using it for? Especially up in that area too,
And this one's hold, and so at that time, I wasn't watching a lot of videos and stuff, and I was like, man, why would somebody put a hole in it and hang and put it on a chain and walk around with it, And then when I started doing research, it's like, they hold them and they sewed them on the inside of their coat because it was such a valuable, item that they didn't want to lose them, and so then it made it even better in my eyes, again, personalized. Agreed. So. But so you were talking about the family. So I make my wife watch videos with me sometimes. Get
nerd with me.
Get on YouTube and start watching videos, and then somebody will find a Spanish half real or a real or 2 real or whatever, and they'll oh, it's a 1787, and I always go, mine's older than that. So it's kind of a little joke, but we have fun with it. So.
You got to take the bragging rights where you can get them, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me about this Einenthaler coin that you sent me a picture of.
So I think I told you, but I work for a dialysis company. I've been in dialysis for 38 years, and one of my biomeds that works for me, him and his wife bought a house down by the lake, and they turned it into an Airbnb, okay? And so I was asking him, I was like, well, how old is that house? You know, that's your entry, you know? And
yes, always.
He's like, it was built in 1920. And I'm like, and why haven't you invited me down to detect it yet? And so I went down there, and I pulled a bunch of stuff out of that yard, old wheat pennies and just all kinds of. I pulled a railroad key. You know what I mean? A railroad key.
Yeah, sure.
It kind of. Yeah. Anyway, I pulled one of those out of there and a bunch of other stuff. But right next to where his truck was parked in the driveway, I was kind of hitting that little side part there, and I couldn't tell if I was getting a signal off his truck. And I messed around for a few minutes. I was like, nah, I'm going to dig it. And this came out, and 1844. I had to look it up to see what it was. So, and it's silver coin, and it was pretty awesome. So
it's a German
that made
coin,
my
right?
day. It's a German coin.
German coin, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's even though it says 12, it's actually a 1/12 thaler is what they called it on the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
1/12
cool.
thaler. Einer Thaler, 1844. So
really cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool. My second oldest foreign coin. So.
Do you clean and display all your finds? I mean, I've seen some display boxes you put together, but do you have like a relic room and all that stuff?
I don't have a relic room right now, but I have some cases with the glass shelves and stuff like that I put all my stuff in there, and I just have so much stuff from the fort. I don't have room to display it all. I've actually been talking to and have been in contact with the curator at our North Idaho Museum. They just moved. They're moving to a new building, and I'm talking about setting up a big display down there for everybody to see.
Beautiful.
So,
you've got a lot to display, man. I'll tell you that. It's people will really appreciate that for sure.
I've been in their old one, and the what they have for a display at Fort Sherman is like 18 by 12 box and stuff in it.
Yeah. It's like, how much stuff could you possibly find? It was only open for a few years, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you're like, here, let me go get my trailer and come bring you the
so
boxes.
I'm hoping to get it in there, and that way people can enjoy looking at it. I know I do.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to let everyone know we're opening the phone lines. If you have a question for Ed or Tony or myself, you want to call in and be part of the show, we'd love to have you call in. Tony, what's the number here?
Oh, we've got area code 270-495-0315. If you guys don't have that programmed in your phone yet, I don't even want to hear it.
Come on.
Area code 270-495-0315. Give us a call. Ask some questions over here to Ed. I know there's a couple more that came coming from the chat. Something we didn't touch on. We normally touch at the beginning. We just didn't cover it. What are you using to find all these amazing relics with? What machine are you using now?
And don't say dowsing rods. People don't like it when I tell people.
I have an Equinox 800.
Oh,
nice.
And I love that thing. Before that, an AT Pro, and you know how the progression goes. I had a $35 yard sale old Garrett with the analog meter on it, and I found so much stuff with that thing, and then I bought the AT Pro, and then onto the Equinox, and my buddy Tom just bought it, the new Manicore. He just got it, so
sweet, excellent.
I'm gonna watch him and see what he finds with that. So
it finds a lot of silver coins at Rush to the Rockies. I can tell you that.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
It's got
and gold coins, right?
It does find gold, so it's a good machine.
That's what since Tony and I are detecting partners, I can tell you that I have noticed a a complete distinct difference in the stuff Tony pulls up and what he doesn't pull up. That's more important. He just doesn't dig junk iron anymore. He doesn't dig very much junk at all. Don't you? Do you, Tony? I mean, have you noticed that difference too? Like I've noticed a significant difference.
Well, just that site that you and I went out to, that Beth, Cindy and I were just at on Monday. I did not dig. I dug a lot. I'll tell you what threw me off. I dug a lot of copper flashing, but it sounds, it sounds phenomenal. It's pure copper. It just sounds absolutely amazing. But in terms of like trash signals and things like that, the Manicore, it really, it lets you know. And I'm very impressed with it. And I have not been digging as many poor targets, even though I probably should be, and not just relying so much on the machine and just dig it all like barrel bands and things like that, which ironically, you mentioned that I did dig a barrel band on Monday. It was kind of funny you mentioned that. No belt plate in it, though.
Was that the same land where Cindy found that grenade?
No, we did go.
So listen back to our live broadcast if you guys get a chance. I'll tell you what, Cindy, or another digging partner of ours, was out on this ranch that we dig all the time. We've hunted it for years, and she came up with a hand grenade with the pin still in it. Now it was a trainer. It was hold out on the bottom of it, thankfully. But I'll tell you what, it shocked me. She sent it to me, and she was digging it. A quick story, real quick. Yeah. She was digging it while surrounded by grandkids and a grandma with her grandkids. So they were all interested in what she was finding, and she was handing them everything she finds. And she got this signal, big iron. She went down and she kind of dug into it a little bit and kind of pointed down and saw the edge of this thing. And she's like, here, pull it up. And like the kid pulls it up, and here's this hand grenade with the pin in it.
No. And there's dirt in the bottom. I mean, the bottom's drilled out because it's a test grenade. But at the time, there was dirt all over the bottom of it. So she's like, oh my gosh, give me that real quick.
Grabbed it from
Still
her.
Has the pin in it, luckily.
I wonder if she's going to be invited back by that grandma. Let's go have fun with the nice lady detectorist while she finds live grenade munitions. Man, crazy. So what's the craziest thing you found? Oh, actually, nope, Copper Joe, I think we lost him. He just tried calling in. Call back, Joe. I would love to hear from you. What's the craziest thing you found out there, Ed? Probably some of that stuff with the leather still on it? Yeah.
Oh, boy. It's hard to... I don't know, to be honest with you, because I found so much stuff there. I
know one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and you and I kind of mentioned it before. I think it's so cool. I just think it's one of the cooler things because of the story behind it. Tell me about that saber hanger.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing, we didn't discuss it on the show, right? So,
no.
You guys remember a guy by the name of Jeb Stewart, right?
Jeb Stewart. I don't think I know Jeb.
No. He played shortstop for the Pirates, didn't he?
There you go. That's him.
No, different Jeb. Sorry.
That's gotta be him. Yeah.
No, but he when he was a lieutenant in the U.S. Army, he was injured in the battle at Solomon River, fighting the Cheyenne in 1857. And while he was recuperating from his wounds, he improved the old sword hanger and came up with this design. The U.S. Army bought it from him for a right-to-use license for $5,000.
Wow.
And then in 1864, the manufacturer Frankfurt Arsenal produced 10,000 of them. And they each bear a Frankfurt Arsenal stamp on the keeper and an Ordnance Department inspector 80 Laidley stamp on the belt. Also on this, right in the center, I don't know if you saw it from the picture, but it's stamped U.S. on there.
Yeah, and like a really cool script U.S. That's the first time I've seen U.S. in a script like that. Yeah.
And they said later on a variant was made by the Rock Island Arsenal, and we had a shorter brass tongue, on the keeper. And then it said, this is from the stuff that I researched, it said wartime examples of the earlier style brass keepers have been dug in Tennessee. So
wow.
Gotcha.
I'm a long
Beautiful
ways
piece.
from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that right when it was getting dark. I had no idea what it was. I put it in my bag and went home and started scrubbing on it in the sink with my toothbrush. And I was like, whoa, what do I have here?
This is something good here.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a caller real
Yep.
quick. Joe, are you on with us? Joe, do we have you? I know he seems like maybe he's having some phone issues. He tried calling in a couple of times. Doesn't look like we have him right now. Try back, Joe. We'll keep trying you. Yeah, very cool, man. Like that. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just going to mention, I've never seen a piece like that. And all of the script on it is just so incredible to be able to see it that well. I mean, it's an incredible specimen there. Like Ken said, the script of the U.S. is, wow,
But
what a piece.
There's so many times when you dig stuff and
Sure.
there's no markings on it, and then it's a research game and see if you can figure it out. But
that's what drives most of us.
Yeah. Oh, when you find somebody's name on something personal, like I know Matt Howell over there with the Gone Digging with that ID tag. Ed, even you at one time found something with some names on it. Real quick though, Joe, are you on the line with us? Joe, are you there? Oh, we've been having connection problem. Joe, sorry about that. Maybe try again later. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, you find something with a name on it. It's pretty amazing, right, Ed? Because it gives you the opportunity to try to track down family
absolutely.
or find out more about the person.
That's how you and I began talking, because you did some history searching for me on that item. So
right, yeah,
I appreciate that. And then
sure.
then we just start talking and pictures start flying and then
and then
next thing you know,
history.
Yeah,
I'm on the phone. So
yeah, no, and it's just the more information you get, it's like a gem. It's like a nugget of like excitement, right? Because like even when Tony, when we went to Oklahoma and they found that key fob, right? Key fob from a brakeman on one of the cable cars out there, or the trolley cars.
Yeah.
And boy, we started that whole search, and Joe said he would call me and be like, "Oh, we found out it's this guy, and he's got a grandson that still lives out there." And yeah, just a lot of fun whenever you get a new bit of information.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
And then sometimes the trail goes cold, though. You know what I mean? Sometimes it goes cold, and you're like, "Oh, where do we go from here?"
So down where this place is, there, they did a little work in there. One day I just happened to be driving by and I saw the guy running a little skid steer, and anytime the ground starts getting pushed around, that gets me a little anxious to go swing my dinger, and so I was down there. I talked to the guys and they're like, yeah, we're putting in a block sidewalk here. And anyway, they had pushed the dirt up into a pile, and I said, you mind if I go, metal detect that? And they're like, no, go ahead. And I found the stirrup. I sent you a picture of the stirrup.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And yeah, it's like, and it's bent, but I've toyed with having it, repaired, and it's like, man, I just, that's the way I found it, and kind of want to keep it that way. But yeah, so I found that, and I don't know, 8 or 9 buttons in that area. So yeah, I'd love to be able to get a backhoe in there or something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sites we would like to do that at.
Yeah.
Right. If I bring the backhoe, Ed, and trailer it up to you.
You're invited.
I already looked. We're about 13 hours away. So
Tony's already making plans.
Already making plans.
Well,
there you go.
We have talked about it because part of our permission is belongs to some satellite schools, and we've discussed maybe getting in there and digging and sifting and that kind of stuff, and and we would be fine with whatever we find. If you guys want to keep it or display it, whatever, we just want to dig it up. So So that's a possibility down the road too.
Right.
That's great. There's something about you know, teachers or professors or that are teaching history, per se, and my buddy Garrett, that I was on the Oregon Trail with. He's a history teacher at a high school, and to be able to stand up in front of people and tell the story. But then all of a sudden, when you open up your hand or you pass this certain item around, it just draws them in, and we're creating, this new wave of historians that just, when you're looking at it, it's just makes it so much more amazing when you can, find it, donate it, have them use it for studies and stuff like that. Yeah, just that's fantastic.
Hey guys, we had another call real quick, Ed. Denny Morrison, Ring Finder. You're on with Ed, Tony, and myself. How you doing, Denny?
Hey, Denny.
Denny, what are we having trouble with the phones here?
We got problems with the phones.
Denny, you and Copper Joe on the same line or what? Come on, man, give me a call. I can't hear you, Denny.
They're on a can with the string to each other.
Sorry, bud. Try again. I don't know what's going on. All right.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry about that, guys. We're having phone issues here.
No worries. It's a Idaho connection or something, man.
No, I think that's something to do with these connections. When we broadcast live up at the event, I tore my entire system down and put it all in a suitcase and wheeled it up there and put it all out. And man, I hoped I had it all put back together. People said the sound sounded fine, but I don't know. It's Skype, right? So when people call in, let's try one more time. Denny's calling back one more time. I'm going to hit the button. Right. You ready, Denny? Here. Okay. Hey, Denny, can you hear me now? Denny, we can't hear you. Now, Denny's had this problem before in the past, so I'm thinking it's his phone. That's what I'm thinking.
That's
and right now he's yelling, he's screaming at me right now. Yeah, it's not my phone. Denny, sorry about that, bud. We're going to go ahead and call it there.
Yeah. Well, we've only got 15 minutes left, so unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to take calls this week.
Yeah, doesn't sound like it. We need to test that when we're off the call here.
We do. Yep.
All right, Ed. So, what haven't you found that you really would like to find? You mentioned a gold coin.
Well, a lot of people's bucket list. I've never found a silver dollar. So, lots of silver halves and stuff, but never a silver dollar, and obviously never a gold coin. So, but a belt buckle would be awesome.
Instead of just watching somebody dig it.
Instead of watching somebody else dig one, yeah, absolutely.
Did he buy you steak or anything like that? Like, has he paid his dues at all? Or
well, what's weird is you think you got a bucket list. It's like, I'd like to find these things, and then you find something that wasn't on your bucket list, and then you go, man,
right,
that should have been on my bucket list. So just recently, down by the college, they dug up, they repaved a parking lot, and so we got down there and we started hunting around, and we ended up in the areas where they like are in between like the grass areas, and I found a 1924 Oregon chauffeur's license.
Oh, what year was it?
Yeah, it's 1924.
24. So cool.
Great.
Yeah. And it was pretty dirty, and I was trying to, it's made out of brass, and I'm trying to clean it with my thumb. And anyway, I could see state of, and I don't know if you guys are like this about Colorado, but I want to find anything that says Idaho on it.
Sure.
Okay. And so I'm like, please be Idaho, and state of Oregon. So it was cool though. I mean, I was like, I probably would have never put that on my bucket list, but after I found it, I was like, that should have been on my bucket list. I just never thought I'd find one, I guess. So,
that's
Ed,
awesome.
Did you ever find anything more about that marksman's badge you found? Did you find any more information on that?
No, but I got first place in miscellaneous at the meeting the other night.
Oh, there you go.
Congrats.
Excellent. Yeah, clubs are fun for that, right?
I've had a lot of people tell me, obviously it's not military, but like the closest I could find was like an NRA marksman badge, or they said a lot of times, like back in the day, they just would have shooting competitions and stuff like that. It could have came from one of those. but it was in the area where I dig this stuff. So, most likely it was dropped afterwards, but it's still a cool item. So,
yeah.
Again, something that I had no idea. I found the military marksman's badge before, so I knew it was different, but I really liked it. So,
do you have these pictures posted publicly on Facebook anywhere? Like, or would you be okay if I shared some of these on the Relics Radio Facebook group?
No worries. And I've kind of been, I was kind of holding off. I was like, maybe one day I'll get on the show. But I have an Instagram page, and now that I'm going to probably start posting, a few every week and stuff until I can get them all out there.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. He has some great collections here, man. Even the buckles, some of the, old-fashioned tooth buckles, a lot of horse tack.
Yeah.
But, the things that amaze me are those, just the hat decorations.
Quite a few of those.
The flowered base part of it. And then the two different types of, I don't know what they call them. I guess the spikes and stuff. Pretty cool.
Right.
I mean, the ones that are not the spikes, the ones that are just kind of eagles and stuff, feathers and stuff. It's really, really cool.
Well, I was researching Fort Sherman, and I found some old pictures, and I found a picture of General Theaker, who was in charge there for a while, and it was just like his headshot, but his shoulder, you could see his shoulders, and on his collar were crossed guns, and then the U.S. pin. And so I was like, oh man, that could probably be down there. And 2 weeks later, I found cross guns, and now I have like 5 of them, and I have a cross swords. So I've kind of knocked that one off my bucket list too. But
that's amazing.
It's just every time I see something, I'm like, oh, that could be there. Like the gold coin, it could be there. And
absolutely.
I just got to keep looking.
Yeah, it looks like you came up with a. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I always joke that I'm kind of like a honey badger. If I get on a spot, I don't give it up until I know everything's gone. You know how that is. So
yeah.
But
saying it looks like you found an old kind of cast like coal car with a number on it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I just found that this spring before the stuff got overgrown, and it's from. I was able to actually ID that one. It was from a 1906. Cast iron train collection. It was the engine, the coal car, and the caboose. And it was from 1906.
That's cool. That's a cool piece.
Yeah. So my very first meeting, I told you I just joined this club. I've always just kind of been a loner, and like to go out and dig on my own or with my buddy. But the first month I started, that I signed and paid my dues, we always bring in what our finds from the previous month, and then we have a table just like you guys, and we have a bunch of different categories. And anyway, I had literally just found those 2 hat badges, the cross guns, the coal car, all this stuff. People were probably going, "Oh, he's just bringing stuff from his collection,"
Right.
I literally had just found it like 2 weeks before, and so I got miscellaneous for the Eagle hat badge, and I got in the toy category, I won for that coal car. That thing's awesome. I like that one a lot. So
yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, the new guy's just bringing his relics. His relic
he's just bringing all his stuff
just
out of
dropping
it
on the table.
Right.
But luckily, my buddy Tom had joined too, and he's like, you guys can say or think whatever you want, but I watched and dig it. So
Right.
But I think the other thing you asked me about, Ken, was that Anheuser-Busch.
Yes.
Thing.
Yeah.
So that's a matchstick holder, and I found the 2 sides, but I never found the cover, the top. And
wow.
I searched and searched, but never found it.
Is it silver?
But, it's not silver, but some of them were made in silver. I got the cheaper model, but I still like it.
Right.
Very cool.
But
did you have an age
it's
on
pretty
that?
cool. Yeah, it was. I want to say it was from 1852 to 1915 or something like that.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that, but somewhere It was old. It was somebody at the fort had their matches in it. So
Yeah.
Wow.
You sent me an issue. You sent me an item too. It's just so cool because I haven't seen any of these things. Looks like some kind of merchant token or, I don't know. Is that it's got Idaho on it, 5 cents, it looks like, or 25 cents.
that's the Fort Sherman token.
That's the Fort Sherman token. Gotcha.
That we talked about. Yeah.
It's hard to see the words in there in the image
you
sent. Yeah. Very
Well,
cool.
it was only in the ground for 100 years.
Yeah, come on. Cut you a break. Have you only found one stirrup?
Only one stirrup, and that was only after they moved the dirt. So, who knows if there's more down there. And the little piece on the back was broke off too. So, but I didn't care. So it's got the groove in it. You can kind of date that kind of stuff too. So, but I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I just like finding it and doing the research. I'm another one of those guys who could not stand history in school. And now it's like my favorite thing, it's like I love to find something and then go home and research it. So,
yeah. We have a lot in common, Ed, for sure.
Yeah,
let me see. There's some questions that came in, right, Tony, in the chat?
Yeah. Yeah, Denny, he was calling in. He was asking some questions. He's got 2 questions here. First, he had asked a while ago, have you found any Indian affair buttons?
No, I'm going to say no. I don't even know what that is. So,
are those like the
it's
Indian
like a
agents?
division?
Indian agents that had buttons, and they would go out and
Yeah,
that was early. That was early time. Yeah,
that was. Second question was he had said, have you hunted any other fort sites, or are you just concentrating on Fort Sherman?
I haven't. I know just from listening to the show that Denny gets out to Montana. And
that's why I was asking
as well.
Yeah,
but no, I never have. Just this area, and I told Ken the story that I was hunting the riverbed in the wintertime when the water was way down, and I probably walked a couple miles, and then I'm working my way back to the truck, and I found a suspender clip about 20 feet away from my truck, and I researched it, and it showed late 1800s, and I'm like, well, if that's here, it's got to be more stuff, and and that's what started the whole thing. And I have over 100 different varieties of suspender clips as well.
Gosh. So, and honestly, why would you try and go hunt another fort? This one's still producing.
Sure is.
Yeah, it's still producing. Sure, I think I'm up to 24 eagle buttons this year until the place got overgrown. So, so
out for the
it's
fall.
Great. Those eagle buttons, I tell you what, Tony and I and a bunch of other people from our club are hunting a site that used to be a stage stop, and there was rumored to be it was documented a little bit that there was a little fort there, a little camp, a little military camp to protect, it was like a main thoroughfare from the north down to Denver and stuff. And so we've been trying to find it. Matter of fact, we've seen pictures of people in the past, years and years and years ago, that found some cannonballs out there. And they were selling them like on some of these auction sites and stuff. Found this place we're hunting. And I tell you, the guy that invited us, that got the permission, this guy in our club, last time we were hunting out there, he was like, I don't know, man. I think this place is done because we've hunted it and really haven't found anything. I mean, we found some cool pieces of Americana, pieces of the history of the place, but nothing going back too far. And then Tony was in this area where he started to find some Henry cartridges.
Yep.
And he found some, some various things that started tying back to the older ages, the older years. But the last time I was out there, the guy was like, you know what? I think this place is about done. I don't know. We haven't found anything except for modern cow tags and different stuff. And then I pulled an eagle button, a crusty small eagle button. And now all of a sudden the place is interesting.
It's alive again. Yeah, everybody wants to go there again.
Yep.
That's it, right?
Yep.
And then every
time I find one, I think it's the last one,
Right.
But they just keep coming out.
Amazing relics, though.
Yeah, the same day that I pulled that eagle button, my friend Dan pulled a button, And he showed it to me, and it had dirt all over it. He hadn't cleaned it. And he's looking at it, and I thought it was a religious button. So did he. He thought it had some kind of religious thing on it because there was like sun rays and stuff, or what looked to be like sun rays. And so he took it home and cleaned it up, and then searched on the internet and found that it was a Georgia militia button.
Oh wow! All the way out there.
All the way out in Colorado, right? And I'm associated with our local history museum here. I'm on the board of directors, and I was talking with the general manager of the museum, and I was kind of telling him, I was like, man, what would that be doing out in these plains? He's like, I could tell you exactly. He said after when the Reconstruction was happening in the South, a lot of those people from the South moved out this way to either start becoming miners or just to get out this way and try to find a new life, and because of the Reconstruction. And he said. Yeah, he said that's probably where it came from. People traveled out this way after the war and probably had their, uniforms with them and, memorabilia like that. So pretty interesting find for Colorado, though, I'll tell you that. And again, it enlightened us. We're like, well, there might be some stuff out here.
Yeah.
Need to keep looking. Very cool, man. So where do you want to hunt? You kind of mentioned England. We were talking about that. You kind of mentioned England, but any other places you want to hunt?
Back east, I'd like to, we always think, you're not going to find anything out of the 1800s out here, in late 1800s usually. I did find that one half real, but, I'd love to find a copper, and again, it's the Civil War stuff. I'd love to go down and hunt with Loy or something. That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I miss that guy. I like when he was on the show. That just the way he talks and everything is so relaxing.
Yeah,
and I hope everything's going good for him.
Right. Yeah, we miss him too, man. It's been a while. It's been a while since I talked to him. I know that he's been real busy with stuff, and he's making lumber and stuff for his daughter's house and stuff. He's like. Isn't he like
he's got a mill
and stuff like that? He's got a mill going.
Because he even went off of the Butch's show too. So
yeah, right. Kind of retired from there. No, I think he's doing something for his church and some stuff. We wish him well, though. I owe him a phone call here pretty soon, so hope to talk to him. Pretty soon. I was just looking through the pictures here. There's just so much, man. Every piece, I'm like, oh, I'd be thrilled if that came up. Do you have any pictures of the? Do you have any pictures of the that maple leaf, that carved maple leaf?
I do. Yeah, I'll send some pictures over to you.
Do you have your Instagram up, or is it not up yet?
No, it's up, and I'll have to. I got to go back and remember exactly what I put it under. I'll get that information for you too, and I'll send some pictures of some of the other stuff that you're interested in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I know people are asking questions about it, and like we said, a lot of people listen to the show in the next coming weeks, and I'm sure they'd be like, oh, I wish we could see some pictures of some of this stuff. And Tony's been holding up pictures, so he's pulling up the pictures you sent us on his phone and kind of holding up to the camera and stuff. So if he pulls little video and audio clips from the show, maybe people can see some of that stuff. But
that's the plan.
Right. Well, hey, man, we really appreciate you coming on, Ed. It's been a quick hour.
I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I was kind of a little nervous, and it's like, man, that's a long time to. I mean, I like to talk, but it's a long time.
Yes. Went quick, though, didn't it?
It did, yeah. And my daughter's making me one of those shirts that says, caution, we'll talk metal detecting for hours. So.
Isn't that true? It's amazing how
true, yeah.
You get together with somebody that shares that same interest, and you just start talking and talking.
Yeah.
Well, into the
I
night.
get in trouble at the grocery store because I'll just start talking to random people. My wife is like, what are you doing? And it's like, well, he had a shirt on, and I started talking to him, and next thing I know, it's 15 minutes goes by. So
yeah, and you always ask, how old is your house?
Exactly.
Right? That's one of the questions.
Where do you live again?
Yeah, that's how you find places, man. People give you all kinds of information.
Yeah, that's from the 1800s.
Just like the garbage dump story, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Start talking to that old man, and there you go.
The lady that I switched my car insurance to, I got to talking to her about it, And then all these customers that she has that live downtown, she's like, "Hey, I got another house for you to do," and so I picked up quite a few houses and quite a few old silvers and stuff down there just from, talking about it over car insurance. So
Wow.
You never know.
Yep.
You never
and
know.
then she sent my
I
daughter
love
a
it.
picture this morning of the picture you put up, Ken, and she goes to my daughter, she's like, "Your dad's kind of a celebrity."
You're like, yeah, you've made it when you're on Relics Radio. I know that.
That's
When
right.
Roy had me on the first time, that's the way I felt. I was like, man,
I know. I
have
can
you on
die a
Relics
happy
Radio.
man
Cool.
now.
Well, let's have you on again, man, when you find that gold coin for sure. And let's just stay in touch. And we really appreciate you coming on.
For sure.
Yeah.
And thanks again.
Sure, absolutely. Anything left before we say our goodbyes? Hold on, and we'll say our goodbyes officially off the air if you're okay with that. But if you have any last words, floor is yours.
No, I'm, again, I just I like listening to your guys' show, and every time I listen to your guests, it's like I feel the same way that they do about the hobby, and one thing I will tell you about digging the area that I'm digging, like I dig it completely different than I would a park or a school or even a house. I use my small coil and I put it on 2-tone, and if I get a repeatable signal, I dig it. I don't care what the number is, because there's been so many times where I've dug 3, 4, 5 square nails out of the hole and then pull a button. So if you don't dig the trash, and especially like in a dump trashy area, you're not going to find the stuff. So
that's right. Yeah,
Preaching
very
to
good.
The choir there. Preaching to the choir.
Yeah. Well, cool. Hold on
thanks
1 second.
again.
We'll say our goodbyes off the air. Tony, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Ed. I appreciate you coming on. Love looking at all the pictures, and we're gonna have to, we're kind of the rare detectors. We're out on the west side of the United States, so we'll have to get together somehow, sometime, and go digging together for sure. I'd love to be able to get out with you and save some of that history. So, hey everybody, if you are interested in what I've got going on at 5280 Adventures on YouTube, Facebook. Just type that into Google, and I'm sure you will find it. I've got lots of shorts that have come out lately. If you guys are looking for shorts or videos, check out YouTube. Check out that gold video. You guys got to go check out that gold coin video. It
is really cool.
Whew.
Yeah. You
Great
have
show
one up,
tonight.
and Zach has one up, and both of them are just get you really excited when you watch it for sure. So, yeah, everyone have a good night. Thanks for listening in. Another great guest up on next Thursday with us. And until then, if you get out, I hope you go dig the good stuff. Be safe out there, and let me know what you're finding. I would love to hear about it. We will catch you next Thursday.